Hi guys, we're back with more homeschool stuff. So this video is all about my kids' curriculum for the new 2024-2025 school year. I'm going to have 2 second graders and 1 third grader. So I'm still not used to saying that because I'm used to 2 first graders and a second grader, and it sounds so big saying second and third grade. They're growing up so fast. I have a curriculum review video from last school year. I will link it down below if you guys want to check that out. Last year we used Abeka for mostly everything. There was a reason for that we used for handwriting for my daughter, and I don't think we had any other curriculum besides a reason for and Abeka last year. But this year we do have a couple of different curriculum that we'll be using for them. And I'm kind of excited for that. I wanted to steer clear from Abeka, not because it's bad, but just because it's time consuming for us. And I wanted something that would flow a little better with my lifestyle, but it is what it is. And well, you'll see. Let's start with my second graders. So we're using a reason for my second graders handwriting, and we used this last year for my daughter. So Chloe used this, and what we love is that the lessons are short. It starts off with some practice lessons, so they'll have like some letters that they'll have to write, but then we'll get to a lesson. So this is lesson 8, and they'll have day 1, which is these few lines. So they have F, H, and the word filled. And then they have day 2, so they would have to write light and within. Then they have day 3, and they have to write face, then, and radiant. And then they have day 4, and this is the week's Bible verse. So they'll have to trace the Bible verse for the week, and this will be the Bible verse that we will be working on that week. Then they have day 4 there, but then they have day 5, which is actually one of these coloring sheets. At the back they have the border sheets with the lines. So they would be taking that Bible verse that they've been working on, and they will be writing it on their own on the sheets, and then they get to color it. So it's a fun activity for them to do at the end of the week. So it's kind of like their fun Friday. Okay, then we have our language arts. Last year we had Abeka, and Abeka is a great curriculum, but it was a lot. There were 2 books for first grade, plus their test books, their math books, and it was just very overwhelming. It was overwhelming for me. It was overwhelming for them. In the other video, I explained that Chloe had 1 thick language arts book, and they had 2 books. And so the boys would constantly be complaining and asking why they had 2 books and Chloe had 1. But Chloe would have to do, let's say, front and back of a page, and they would only have to do the front page of their book. It was the same amount of work, but it felt like more to them because it was multiple books. But there was a lot within those pages too for them to do, so it kind of got exhausting towards the end of the year. They just weren't having it because it was a lot of repetitiveness, because it is a spiral curriculum. So it kept going back to things they had already mastered, and they got bored. So this year I wanted to go a different route, and I wanted it to be more literature based. So I wanted to be able to read more with them. We do read often, and they read independently a lot, and we go to the library at least once a week to check out books. So that's something that is already part of our routine, but now we're gonna integrate it within our curriculum. So we chose Lightning Literature for language arts this year. And I read and I watched reviews on YouTube on other channels, and there were mixed reviews. There were people that loved it. There were people that didn't like it as much. Some people said that this doesn't have a lot of phonics, and the composition portion of it was a little bit intense. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not going to do the composition that comes with this curriculum. I'm probably gonna be purchasing a book from Paper Pie that has like writing prompts and things, and I'll be teaching them how to write myself, how to write paragraphs and things like that. But for the most part, I think that we're gonna be fine with this. So this is separated into weeks, and each week it has, it'll give you a book that will go with the lesson. So week 1 is Max's Words by Kate Banks. And so you'll go to week 1 and it shows Max's Words. And then it'll give you things that that are in the book. So whatever activities they're doing that week will have to do with the book that they're reading. So since they're going to be reading Max's Words, day 1 is going to be alphabetizing, so alphabetical order, and it says something about the book. And then day 2 is going to be something similar. So it seems like we'll be practicing alphabetical order the first week. They will also have some pages that ask about the story. So they're gonna write what is the story about, what they think of the story, and their favorite sentence from the story. So that's gonna be something new for them, and it's gonna be interesting to see what they write. It's gonna push them to do a little bit more than what they're used to. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what they come up with and how they grow. I'm not going to have them write 5 sentences right off the bat, and probably not even 3. But I do want to see growth and improvement, and hopefully by the end of the year, they will be writing a full paragraph and giving me more details on the books that they're reading, because the books will get longer. Let me show you some of the books that I have. I bought this curriculum as a set because you can buy the book by itself, or you can buy the book with the student book with the teacher textbook, and then the book of poems and 2 other books. Apparently the book of poems is a little bit hard to find, so I chose to get the full set. So it comes with Just So stories, and it comes with Winnie the Pooh. And then it also came with the Random House book of poetry for children. And I actually bought the set also with my daughter that came with the poetry book. I didn't quite realize, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal because I will be having 3 children using these poem books. So I'll have enough of the books for them to share and to use. What I like about this also is that it slowly pushes them into chapter books. So my boys are already reading chapter books. They're not reading as fluently as I would like yet, but this curriculum starts them off with picture books and then pushes them into the chapter books. So I have some books already that I have purchased on Thrift Books and Book Outlet. So these are the books that I have so far. I don't have all of the books yet, but I did want to get all the books that are in the beginning weeks, and then later on go finding them at my local library or on Thrift Books or Book Outlet. So the first book that I have is The 3 Questions. I have The Old Woman Who Named Things, Insect Detective, The Bee Tree, La Mariposa, Teddy, the story of Teddy Roosevelt, and Max's Words, which is the first book that we'll be reading. So these are all part of the curriculum, well, all books that are part of the curriculum. I've heard that you don't really need the books to do the lessons, but I would like to have the full experience and for them to read. So I don't mind all the books and all the reading because that's what I want for them. I want them to be reading more and I want them to enjoy reading. So these books are fun and they're short. They will be getting to chapter books. So towards the end, they will actually be reading The Boxcar Children, My Father's Dragon, 26 Fairmount Avenue, and Mr. Popper's Penguins. there's some of their chapter books at the end. So I'm excited for those. I can't wait for them to get there and see how they're reading by the time they get there. So like I mentioned when I did research, a lot of people were saying that their phonics part was not, there was just nothing there for them. So I went ahead and bought Explode the Code, and this is book number 5. So I got one for each of the boys so they can practice a little more on their phonics. It's very simple. Explode the Code is pretty self-explanatory, stuff that they can do on their own, but it'll help them with their reading and anything phonics related. So I'm excited for them to do that. They've never done Explode the Code before, but I've always seen people using Explode the Code, and it seems to be fairly simple. And then for math, we have Abeka, and we are back with Abeka. Now, I know that I didn't want Abeka, but things happen. We went to the homeschool convention and we realized that my kids were a little too far ahead in math because Abeka pushes you ahead. So my kids were further ahead than most curriculum were at for their next level. So we kept looking through books and seeing if there was something that was going to be better than Abeka or something similar to Abeka that was less time consuming. But honestly, we just had to go with Abeka because nothing was really at their level. We looked through all the books and everything seemed to make them fall behind. So I just stuck with Abeka and kept them where they're at because they were going at a steady pace and they enjoy math. They're good at it. So having Abeka for math was not a problem. All right, so Chloe last year did use a reason for handwriting. She was still working on manuscript. I didn't feel like my kids were ready in 2nd grade to start working on cursive. I still felt like they needed to work on their manuscript. So I did keep them with manuscript, and Abeka started cursive at 2nd grade. So I had no choice but to find a different curriculum, and that's when I found a reason for. But this year, Chloe will be starting cursive, and we are back with Abeka. There was a curriculum at the homeschool convention that I saw for handwriting. I can't even remember what it was. I know that it was light pages, and they had like to practice scribbles, and then they practiced the letters and the formation of the letters. So they got to kind of do like wrist work, but I was never able to find it. And I went on Facebook groups and I messaged the other moms in the co-op that I'm part of, and nobody seemed to know what I was talking about. So somebody told me that Abeka had something similar to what I was looking for, and when I checked, it was very similar. I don't know if what I saw was probably Abeka, and my brain was just in denial and kind of erased the part that the book said Abeka in the front, or if I did see something else. If you know what I'm talking about, please leave it in the comments because I am desperate to know what the name of that curriculum was. But we went with Abeka because it did have the scribbling lines, so she gets to practice, you know, with the wrist practice and keeping the pencil down to form her letters. Chloe is not very good with manuscript because she spaces her letters so far apart, and it's kind of frustrating because I constantly erase so that she can, you know, put the letters together and form the words instead of it looking like a bunch of random letters on a paper. But she will be doing cursive this year, and I'm excited. And hopefully she does a lot better with cursive. I heard that sometimes kids that struggle with manuscript are really good with cursive. So let's see how that goes. Hopefully it's not a huge disaster. And she enjoys it. She's excited for it. So if she's excited, I'm excited. And then of course we have Language Arts Lightning Literature. This curriculum is just like the other one, except this is 3rd grade. So she has books that she'll go through. So for example, I just opened Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So she will be having chapter books throughout the whole year. And I already have some of them. I'm still missing a couple. Yeah, I'm still missing about 2 more books. Three more books. So I need 3 more books. The other ones I've already purchased, either at the library that I've bought for $1 or through thrift books. But it's the same kind of curriculum. And I didn't think Chloe needed some extra phonics work, so I didn't get her Explode the Code. She's fine. She's a pretty good reader. But there's a lot of different activities here for her too. So she'll work on verbs and adverbs and writing sentences and diagramming, so the predicate and subject. And so it's a lot of things in here that she knows how to do, and some things that she'll be going more in depth with. We didn't really do a lot of poetry last year, but this year she will be doing poetry because she's going to be using that same the Random House book of poetry. So some of her chapter books are Sarah Plain and Tall, Ramona and Her Father, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Rickshaw Girl, and Charlotte's Web. Okay, so with Charlotte's Web, we had actually started reading it last year. It was one of our read alouds, and after the convention, I realized that it's part of Chloe's curriculum, and so we stopped it. So I have my marker here in the middle of the book because we made it all the way to the middle, and the kids were loving it. I kind of felt bad stopping it, but we're gonna read it again anyway. We're gonna read it from the beginning again, and I actually bought a poster, and I can't remember the name of the company, but I will, I'll post it. And she creates posters, well, they create posters that go with the books. So I got one for Charlotte's Web, and I got one for The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is not part of the curriculum, but it's gonna be one of our read alouds, so I wanted to have that poster too. And then we have math. Surprise, surprise, a Becca. So we'll be doing a Becca for math for 3rd grade also. I see a lot of fractions, division and multiplication. So these are big numbers, and Chloe is a little bit more intimidated with math. She's not bad at it, but she does struggle because she gets frustrated if she doesn't get it right away. So I have a feeling we're gonna take this very slow and just go at her pace. We do have a lot of math games and math manipulatives this year, and we will be doing math more game style. Even though we'll be working with the curriculum with the books, we do want to spend time playing math games like the inflatable dice that I will show in another video. And we will also be doing some board games like Trifecta that has multiplication and division, and another math brain game that I bought at the homeschool convention that takes about 10 minutes. So that's probably something that we'll be doing every morning, just to, you know, a little break from all the books. So that's it for the curriculum for this year. My kids are excited to start. They keep asking me when we're starting. So hopefully by the end of this week, I can have everything ready so that, well, today's Thursday. So hopefully I can have everything ready by Monday, and maybe we'll start Monday. Who knows? I'm excited to start too. I can't wait to jump into all these books, to all this reading. I need a few more things before the school year starts because I need to prepare everything for them. I need to get their folders. I did get a lot of things unbound because I want them to have their own folders with paper and with everything separated by day for the week. So all they would have to do is grab a folder and they'll know what to do. There are still a few things that I want to get. I do want to get Fix It Grammar from IEW for all 3 of them, just to work on their grammar a little bit. It's 1 sentence a day. So it's gonna be some just extra practice for them that they can do. I also am thinking of starting typing with them. I don't know if I'm gonna do that yet this year, or maybe I'll start later on in the year. I have to see how our flow for the day is and how much time we really have, because I don't want to put too much on them. They do have extracurriculars, so Chloe's in dance, and this year they'll be starting piano. And possibly the boys will be starting either a sport or they will be going to a kids gym. So depending on all of that and how we see our day, we'll go adding and removing things. Last year I had a plan and my plan changed. So we adjusted for the year last year, and we'll be doing the same thing every year. We have to play it by ear and figure out what works for us and make adjustments as necessary so that our kids are happy and we're happy. That's it for this year, and I will let you know how the school year goes. See you next time.